All right, this is what we call an emergency 49ers live. I've been on the phone with some very important people, gathering information. I have the information ready to share with you now. You should learn a lot about this developing situation. I'm sure you already know what the developing situation is. Brock Purdy has agreed to terms with the 49ers on a contract worth $265 million over the next 5 years. And based on everything that I'm gathering, and I've already written up on the San Francisco Standard, you could see that article up on the screen. The link is in the description. This is a tremendously mature deal struck by both sides. Our first clue is that it's May 16th. Brandon Ayuk's contract that took all the way up until close to the regular season. Nick Bosa's contract took all the way up until very close to the regular season. It was the week of the regular season. You go back to Deebo Samuel's deal, even George Kittle and Fred Warner, Kittle's first contract, those ones ran up close to training camp. This is done before OTAs. So as I said, and fine, I'll take a victory lap. I was saying that both sides are on good track. They're on the same page. They're operating in good faith. Brock Purdy at the team facility. Yes, that all was true. Both sides were ready to attack this maturely. So all the people complaining about the 49ers not signing players quickly enough, well, they just signed George Kittle in early May. They've signed, or they've agreed to terms with Brock Purdy here in mid-May. I would expect this contract to be signed at some point early next week. That's when everything will be ratified and official. But a very mature contract in that it's $53 million APY. So everybody was saying that he wouldn't hit 50 million. You were wrong. He did hit 50 million. He cleared it by 3 million. It ranks number 7 amongst all quarterbacks. It's the same as Jared Goff's is at 53 million. But the first 3 years of this contract, this is important to take note. $165.05 million over the first 3 years comes out to a little bit over $55 million per year. And that beats out the first 3-year money of Jared Goff. Goff, when he signed the deal with the Detroit Lions, was at $165 million over 3 years. Purdy, with this contract, beats out Jared Goff at $165.05 million. The guarantees on this contract, $181 million total guaranteed for Brock Purdy. So I'm going to write this here, $181 million total guaranteed, means that that's guaranteed for injury. We don't have the fully guaranteed amount yet. And you guys know I'm going to delve into this as soon as I have the actual contract in hand. I'm going to get through the most important numbers. But just wait. I've got the biggest number of all for you. I'm just waiting for more people to come into the room here. Mike wants me to move the mic up. Why don't I just talk into the mic? This is an emergency live. Does this sound better? Mike complaining about mic quality. It usually happens. What do you think, Mike? You got to type. You got to tell me, man. People are waiting to know them. Okay, good. Way better. Okay, we're just going to talk like this. This is how it's going to be done. So 181 million total guaranteed. All great. It's rolling guarantee, so it's going to trigger every year. I don't know when they've set the exact trigger. I have to see the language of the contract to be a little bit more sure, but it's going to be a year-by-year basis. This essentially seals Brock Purdy and the 49ers together for 3 years. $181 million in essential guarantees, because the total guarantees here are essentially full guarantees, means that this is a real commitment between the 49ers and their star young quarterback. And a very mature deal, because Brock Purdy wasn't out there banging down the door saying, I need $65 million. He wasn't saying, I need 56, 57 million per year just so it looks good. I want a contract that sets me up for life, that allows me to support my family, that reflects who I am as a quarterback. And instead of a vanity number, the average per year on the surface, let's make these guarantees strong. Let's make these guarantees practical. Let's let the 49ers build a strong team around me. And that's where I come to the biggest bombshell of all. And this has not been reported yet. So just drum roll, hold your breath, because I want to get this written up on the screen. And I mean, this is the most important part of this deal when we talk about a win-win situation. So the 49ers want to build a team that is sustainable. And obviously, Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. So you want to build that team around the quarterback, but at a certain point, and the 49ers have hit that certain point, you're going to have to pay up for that quarterback. So when you're looking to execute the deal with that QB, you need to find a structure. And, all through the past few months, I've been telling you guys, it's not about the APY. It's about the structure that the 49ers and Brock Purdy are able to achieve in a mutual negotiation. And will that structure allow the 49ers to continue to build a solid team around Brock Purdy? Well, his 2025 salary cap hit, and this right here, it's not an exact amount, but it's going to be pretty close to accurate. The 2025 salary cap hit for Brock Purdy. You guys remember that, people were saying, this is going to bankrupt the 49ers. It's going to be 30 million, 40 million, and it's going to escalate to 50, 60 million. It was relatively ground shaking when I projected his salary cap hit to be 15 million a few months ago. And, people are like, how's that even possible? How's Brock Purdy's salary cap hit going to be 15 million? And I showed you the staggered structure that the 49ers like to use in their contracts. Well, even my projected salary cap hit was not low enough. The actual salary cap hit for Brock Purdy in 2025 is going to be about 8.5 million. So it had, before this contract, the cap hit was 5 million for Brock Purdy. This new deal is only going to cost the 49ers $3.5 million of 2025 salary cap space. So the cap is rising year over year. It's tied to NFL revenue. And the 49ers have managed to save as much room as possible in the short run. And Brock Purdy has been willing to work with them with the structure to save as much money in the short run so that this team can build out around him. This is the most important part of this entire Brock Purdy contract. A cap hit under 10 million for the 2025 season. So enjoy that if you're a 49ers fan, because you're not getting that information anywhere else right now. This is a salary cap hit for Brock Purdy that allows the 49ers to build a strong team around him. This is what we call a win-win for the 49ers and Purdy. Slam dunk, win-win, mature contract. We have enough details now to know that this structure works with what the 49ers want to do. So if you want a look at some of this, the article is linked in the description. I'm constantly updating the article in the San Francisco Standard. I have that obviously up on the screen, but there are a couple other things that I want to illustrate. So just bear with me here as we go to another graphic. And as soon as I'm done with finding this graphic, we will be able to. So here, I wrote this a couple days ago. This is my article on George Kittle's contract. And this is examining the 49ers financial situation and Kittle's deal before they pay Purdy. This ended up aging remarkably well, as you can tell. Let's go to Kittle's contract structure. The 49ers have employed something very, very similar for Brock Purdy. Again, we don't have the Brock Purdy numbers yet. The contract probably won't be signed until next week, so we won't have the exact numbers and a spreadsheet for you until then. But if you look at how Kittle's deal was structured, it was a perfect predictor for how Brock Purdy's deal was going to be structured. Bonus money, either a signing bonus or prorated option bonuses, is shaded. And if you pay out a bonus, either as a signing bonus or as an option bonus, it's prorated or stretched out for up to 5 years against the salary cap. So in the case of Kittle, it was a big signing bonus stretched out through 2029. This also inherited his old deal. But that's why the number is a little bit funky. But here the numbers are consistent. First, green option bonus stretches out through 2030 into void years. Yellow option bonus that kicks in 2027 on a rolling basis stretches out to 2030. Red option bonus kicks in 2028, stretches out to 2031. Blue option bonus kicks in 2029, stretches out to 2033. This George Kittle deal set NFL history. Nobody had ever used 5 bonuses between the signing bonus and the option bonus in a single contract. That had never been done before. The most I think we had seen was 4, and that might be pushing it, but we had definitely seen 3. So the 49ers are employing, sorcery, if you will. 49ers are employing new techniques with their staggered bonuses. And they have applied something very similar to this new contract for Brock Purdy. So let's get Brock Purdy back up on the screen here. This is, again, what I wrote about just a few days ago. Yes, it did end up aging very well because the staggered bonus structure that the 49ers used for Kittle, and it was able to get Kittle's cap hit at $14.2 million, even though he got a big raise this year. That same staggered structure has allowed the 49ers to keep Brock Purdy's cap hit at about $8.5 million for this season. So if you want me to give you, the 49ers salary cap impact, because I always think of everything in terms of how does this impact the football team? I'm not about, okay, individual player, here's his money. I like to talk about strategy. I like to talk about the entire football team. That's been the goal throughout this entire process for me. I think that to stay consistent, we have to open up the 49ers 2025 salary cap report, which I have ready for you right here. And as you can see, $36.85 million in projected space before the Brock Purdy contract. Now we look at Purdy. Before it was a $5.24 million salary cap hit. Now it's going to be an estimate because we don't have the final number yet, but we're going to put the estimate at $8.5 million for Purdy. And as you can see, as I put it there, and this thing automatically calculates, the 49ers are still projected to have over $33 million in salary cap space, even after paying Brock Purdy. I can't underscore that this is monumentally mature. I think that's probably the way to summarize this contract. They're able to get this Brock Purdy deal done while preserving over $30 million in 53-man salary cap space for ahead of this 2025 season. And they could roll over what they don't use into future years because the cap hits are going to increase as this deal progresses, as the years accrue. But team control, that's what's most important for a quarterback who's as good as Brock Purdy. Team control is obviously vital for the 49ers. They have an extra 5 years of it now. They probably have control through age 30 for Brock Purdy, right? Yeah, because we're in 2025 all the way to 2030. They have the team control. Brock Purdy has generational wealth, financial security, and the bridge to connect those two things, right? The 49ers got their team control. Purdy is getting his money. The bridge to connect those to make it work is the structure. The structure has to work in a way that the football team is willing to reward the player, in essence, a year early, right? Brock Purdy was still going to be entering the final year of his rookie deal. So he's getting paid a year early. So both sides have to cave a little bit, and they have to find that middle ground that works. And I think in this situation, the 49ers and Brock Purdy very clearly found middle ground that worked for both parties. Again, those of you just joining, the article is up on the San Francisco Standard. I've written a lot of articles on this, and I think the headline for this article is perfect. I think that Kerry Crowley, our editor over at the San Francisco Standard doing the sports, from pick number 262 to 265 million. Brock Purdy, 49ers agree to an extension. Let's just underscore what we've seen here. This is a guy that was the last pick in the draft. The very last pick in the draft, literally pick number 262. They might have missed a good opportunity to pay him $262 million. That would have been neat, but it didn't happen. Anyway, last pick in the draft is now signed for one of the largest contracts in NFL history. This is the largest contract in 49ers history. San Francisco continues to double down around its foundational pillars, around the core of this football team. And Purdy has now signed the largest deal for a player drafted in the 7th round of the NFL draft. By a lot, by the way. I'm going to share this with you guys. Mike just sent this to me. I mean, by a whole heck of a lot. This is from Spot Rack. They do a great job with all the salary cap stuff. Take a look at these calculations, though. You guys are really going to enjoy this one. Largest total contracts signed by NFL players drafted in the 7th round. Purdy at $265 million, Will Freeze at $87.7, Jordan Mailata at $66 million. I mean, you've got to go down all the way to Matt Castle to find another quarterback, and that was a while ago. So as we wrap our heads around what the last few years have been, and I mean, this goes all the way back to Brock Purdy's first career start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and his first career extended action against the Miami Dolphins the week prior to that. I mean, I saw it early, and I think a lot of you saw it early too. But when Miami ran that zero blitz, because what you do against the 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant in his first career action coming in as a backup, the smart thing to do is to blitz him. Send the house. See how he handles it. Against the zero blitz, Purdy got smoked, threw blind, and he still found George Kittle for a big gainer. I think that was a 3rd down too. Led the 49ers to 30-plus points against the Dolphins and all those zero blitzes in that first game. Then everybody said, okay, well, Tampa Bay's going to have a chance to get ready for this guy. The fairy tale run is only going to last one game. It's going to be over next week. Tampa Bay has a really, really good defense. He turned around and he lit up Tampa Bay for 28 points, 4 touchdowns in the first half. Dropped 40 on Tampa Bay the next week. Beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady never lost to a rookie quarterback in his whole career until he lost to Brock Purdy in his final year in the NFL. During that game, Brock Purdy broke a rib. He got hurt during that game. He was running, I think it was a scramble play, and he broke a rib, maybe diving out of bounds. He showed up to Seattle, the place where 49ers quarterbacks wilted in the past. And I know Jimmy Garoppolo had a really good game there in 2019 when they clinched the division. But, I mean, it was a house of horrors for the 49ers. Their fans should know this, right? Goes to Seattle the next week. The 49ers have a chance to clinch the division. He goes there with a broken rib. He can't throw ahead of the game because he broke the rib on a Sunday and they played on a Thursday. And he leads the 49ers to a division clinching win against Seattle. That was his first 3 games as pick number 262. And then he lit up the playoffs. I mean, the Seahawks game that year in the playoffs, didn't he throw 4 touchdowns against them? Or it should have been 4, but Brandon Ayuk dropped that one in the corner against a very good Cowboys defense. He played a very mature game. In 2023, Brock Purdy was the most efficient quarterback in football. He set NFL history with some of his efficiency. I mean, I got to find my state of the quarterback position piece here on the San Francisco Standard. We got to get this up on the screen because, I mean, this story has been epic from the moment that he took the field to now signing a $265 million contract that is a win-win between the 49ers and the quarterback. This story has been undoubtedly epic beyond like normal comprehension. And now we get to this part, and I haven't even gotten to the statistics yet. The fact that the 49ers were able to get this kind of quarterback under contract at an $8.5 million salary cap hit with a deal that pays Brock Purdy well, $165 million over the first 3 years. The fact that this happened, I mean, that's a very, very good handshake between the 49ers and their franchise QB. All right, here we have it. Well, I have yes. Oh my God, look how well this aged. I wrote this back in February. Yes, a win-win contract is possible for Brock Purdy and the 49ers. It's there. Most efficient NFL quarterback since 2022. Let's pop this open on the screen for you. Purdy, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, whom Brock Purdy just edged out. There's more where this came from. A lot more where this came from. We talked about the contract the 49ers could strike between them and Brock Purdy. I'm not sure. Yeah, here's his year-over-year efficiency. This will be good. Get this up on the screen. Year-over-year efficiency, the EPA per play did not dip all that much in 2024. I mean, there's a big misconception that Purdy had some kind of bad year in 2024. The team around him definitely had a bad year, but a lot of the variables that really matter stayed relatively consistent. Now, he had a historically good year in 2023 when things were truly clicking at all levels for the 49ers. He was still very good in 2024. He just wasn't playing at a Hall of Fame-like clip in 2024. The goal for the 49ers is going to be to make the setup around Brock Purdy a lot more like 2023 than 2024 moving forward. And, how do you do that? Well, you make sure that you have better than the number 32 separation in the league this year, because he was still good against zone. It was the man coverage that gave the 49ers a lot of trouble. You make sure that your run game is better than number 20 efficiency on first down. I think having Christian McCaffrey back will be a step in that direction for the 49ers. The defense for the 49ers last year and the special teams for the 49ers last year didn't put them in any position to succeed. They put their quarterback up against the wall, like a back up against the wall, and he's having to play from behind. He's having to play with a defense that isn't able to stop the run, so there's no sense of game control help coming from the defense. Yeah, put Brock Purdy in a lot of bad spots. Guess what? He still finished number 7 in QBR last year. So the 49ers entered this deal with a lot of confidence. The national media, a lot of it is very clueless in how you evaluate quarterback play. We can't really do anything about that, right? I mean, I could sit here and I could just spit truth over and over again and talk about the contract that Brock Purdy would sign with the 49ers and talk about how they were going to make this work on a win-win basis. And, people just yell at me on the internet. They wouldn't believe it until it actually happened. And now it has happened. The 49ers have rewarded Purdy for the football that he's put in over the course of 2022, 2023, and 2024. And they're ready for this partnership to continue 2025 and beyond. Huge, huge news. The 49ers and Brock Purdy make this contract work at a cap hit of about $8.5 million for the 2025 season. Remember that Brock Purdy is still only 25 years old. So a 5-year deal keeps him with the 49ers through his entire prime, which it's priceless for the 49ers. I mean, you see $265 million. I think keeping a quarterback through his prime with the escalation that we've seen given quarterback contracts and the escalation that we've seen given the NFL's salary cap and NFL revenues, that it's something that you absolutely have to be a perennial contender year in and year out in this league. Now, the most mature part of all of this, and this cannot be overstated given what we've seen as far as contract drama for the 49ers over the course of the past several years, is this is May 16th. They have agreed to a deal on May 16th. This is not July. This is not August. This is not, in the case of Nick Bosa, this was September. I think Brandon Ayuk was about August 30th. This is May 16th. OTAs haven't even started yet. OTAs are next week. And when we talk about maturity, Brock Purdy was in the 49ers building working before OTAs. So there's never even a thought of a holdout, because it was all voluntary. It still is all voluntary starting next week. He's going to be in the building, and he has been in the building before this deal was agreed to. So he was operating in good faith. The 49ers were operating in good faith. And all of those stories that you heard about insulting initial offers and all the clickbait over the past few months just gets blown away, thrown out the door. They found a win-win, the 49ers and Brock Purdy, and I'm sure that people are really, really excited in the comments section. Debo has chimed in. Debo has chimed in, and we can share that up on the screen. Debo Samuel, over from Washington now, but Debo Samuel's been a big part of this story. Credit to him for maintaining a good relationship with his old teammate Brock Purdy. There's Debo and Purdy. I think that was during the game at Miami this year. Congrats, brother. Well deserved. Debo Samuel, his former teammate Brock Purdy. Mike is going to keep on firing away with some of this great content. I absolutely love it. And we'll make sure that we get that San Francisco Standard article up. If you've appreciated my reporting on Brock Purdy over the course of the past several years, but especially we got the contract right, and most other places didn't. I'm just going to put that bluntly. Most other places were just threw stuff up against the wall for the course of months. If you appreciate it, then the best you can do is hit that subscribe button and also sign up for the San Francisco Standard. From pick number 262 to 265 million. Brock Purdy and the 49ers agreed to an extension. I have heard that Brock Purdy is currently golfing. When the contract came down, Brock Purdy is golfing with his wife, Jenna. Good for him. Generational wealth. And he's having a little chance to relax. And the news of the contract came through, and Brock Purdy is going to be at OTAs with the 49ers next week. Debo is one cool dude. I think he traded away from the 49ers. It obviously had run its course, and he requested the trade. The 49ers obliged it. They might have been ready to move on regardless of what happened with a Debo trade request, but he's still here wishing Brock Purdy the best. This is the largest contract in 49ers history, and guess what? It is done early. It's done on May 16th. As Niner Nation 81 says, very fair contract. I mean, that's again, I will have to say that this is an extremely mature deal. Now, as we go through some of the mechanics of the contract, 5 years, $265 million, but the first 3 years are $165.05 million, which edges out Jared Goff for year 1 through 3 cash flow. $181 million total guaranteed on a rolling basis, and an $8.5 million 2025 cap hit for Brock Purdy. That is the big number that nobody else is telling you right there. $8.5 million on the cap hit. We have already made the sheet right here. The estimate, and the 49ers have over $33 million in salary cap space. So the article is up on the description. I'm going to copy and paste it and put it into the chat section so everybody can go ahead and click on it there. You can sign up for the San Francisco Standard today. I think it's the best time to do it. I'm updating that with more details as I get them. We'll have the fully guaranteed money. I know that we have the practical guarantees right here for Brock Purdy, $181 million of injury guarantees. We know that this structure is a lot like the George Kittle structure. We predicted that a couple days ago. 5 years, $265 million for the 49ers and Purdy. And why don't we have more friends join us? Why don't you guys send this link to more people? And Mike, can you send me the link to the stream so I could tweet it? I don't want to open it up in YouTube because that would ruin the mic quality. The salary cap hit info that a lot of you are tuning in because you're not getting it anywhere else is that the 49ers have managed to keep Brock Purdy's 2025 salary cap hit, even with this new contract, at $8.5 million. Absolutely massive win-win news for the 49ers and Purdy. All right, let me copy and paste this. Give me a second. I'll probably sound really far away if I talk right now, but this is important. We're tweeted. We're good. We could watch that number shoot up right now. We're at 1658. And we can welcome in some new viewers talking about the salary cap hit here, talking about what this means for the 49ers in the big picture. I know that I'm going to have a stress-free summer now, which is really nice. We'll be able to travel around Europe, not really worry about any new contract information. Remember that the 49ers also signed George Kittle earlier this month. So between Kittle and Purdy, the 49ers have executed big time. They have managed their salary cap very well, and they are now ready. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff happening for the 49ers entering 2025. Just a couple days ago, we got the schedule. It's the easiest schedule in the entire league by strength of schedule from last season. So San Francisco finished last year. They were exhausted after 60 games in 3 seasons. They have a break this offseason to just get locked, loaded, ready to go for 2025. And they won't have any distractions heading into training camp and, no distractions heading into OTAs. They can actually get real on-field work done. And Brock Purdy talked about that over the course of his press conference to end the season. The big thing for Brock was, I don't want any distractions this offseason. I want to get to work with the guys. I think, he was on this team. I think that he saw the toll that some of these prolonged negotiations had taken on the 49ers in years past. And as the quarterback, as somebody raised right, somebody very mature about this whole thing, he wanted to make sure that the contract was handled in a mature way. His agent is Kyle Strongen. He and the 49ers representation led by Parag Marathe obviously was able to get on the same page and get on the same page quickly. This is a win-win. 5 years, $265 million, $181 million in total guarantees. The rolling nature of the total guarantees essentially means that they're fully guaranteed. Because, it starts as an injury guarantee, but it's a rolling full guarantee where it's going to trigger every single season. We know that it's about $165 million over the first 3 years. That has beaten Jared Goff, a new high water mark for the 49ers in their contract history with Brock Purdy's new deal that sets them up with their franchise quarterback through 2030. Most importantly, it is an $8.5 million 2025 salary cap hit for Brock Purdy. We got news coming in from the Philippines. People happy all the way on the other side of the Pacific. What time is it in the Philippines? That's really cool. Brock Purdy is now making more money per year than Patrick Mahomes. That's also true. Mahomes, a really team-friendly deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. A long deal, but he can renegotiate it every year. And Patrick's got some endorsements coming in on the side. And I know that Brock Purdy did as well. But it's not just the money that you make through the big contract. It's the money that you could also make as a marketable athlete elsewhere. And I think that Brock Purdy is very, very marketable on top of that. The 49ers have also executed the biggest piece of news of the day. They have signed a new kicker, Greg Joseph. So this is really funny because this came in about 30 minutes after they signed Brock Purdy. Greg Joseph, veteran kicker, actually a South African kicker. He's from Johannesburg. He is now going to be with the 49ers. He's been in the league since 2018. He's going to be Jake Moody's kicking competition. So, you guys, I hope you know that I was joking. 49ers don't actually consider this to be the biggest news of the day, but it's just funny that the massive news that we'd all been waiting for over the course of this offseason was immediately followed by news that the 49ers were signing a kicker. The kicker is Greg Joseph. Played college football at Florida Atlantic, signed with the Dolphins. I'm going to look up Joseph's stats for you really quickly, and then you can put in your Brock Purdy questions. I'll be happy to answer them, happy to talk about some of the salary cap dynamics as we go through this emergency 49ers show. But we got to go to Greg Joseph's Pro Football Reference page. Sorry, I wasn't exactly ready for a kicker signing on this afternoon. We even had to do an emergency live for the quarterback signing. Joseph, career field goal percentage of 82.3%, which is better than Moody's rookie percentage, which is about 81%. Joseph was with the Jets last year, so he overlapped with Brant Boyer, who's the 49ers special teams coordinator, new special teams coordinator. But Joseph, the Jets went through a lot of kickers because of injuries. He was only 1 for 1. He only attempted 1 kick with the Jets. Before that, he was with Washington, the New York Giants, Minnesota, Tennessee, and Cleveland. He has made 116 out of 141 kicks in his NFL career. That's that 82.3% mark. Joseph, over 50 yards, is 17 of 30. In the 40s, he's 27 of 38. In the 30s and the 20s, he's only missed once. He's 37 of 38 from 30 to 39 and 34 of 34, 20 to 29. And I think, Jake Moody was missing from everywhere after the high ankle sprain last season. So I think it's imperative that the 49ers bring in competition that pushes them for the nuts and bolts kicks, the ones that are coming in from a little shorter range. Hey, that's the Brock Purdy cap hit down at the bottom of the screen. 5 years, $265 million is the full deal. Thank you to everybody who is filing in. I've got more and more details as time progresses. This is massive news for the 49ers. It is massive news for Brock Purdy, who's out on that golf course. OTAs begin next week, and I appreciate all of the kind messages coming in. Everything about this deal is good for the 49ers and Purdy. They were able to find a pragmatic balance, and anybody that knows the least bit about contract dynamics can tell from the very start, based on the cash flow, based on the salary cap hit. The salary cap hit early on means the 49ers have been able to stagger the bonus structure in a creative way, probably in an NFL unprecedented way. The George Kittle deal was one that made NFL history for the 49ers, and I could show it to you guys right here because I wrote this the other day, and this Brock Purdy deal might do more of the same for San Francisco. So here, this is the Kittle deal. This is the staggered bonus structure. The 49ers will employ something very similar for Brock Purdy. That's confirmed. I know this to be true. So signing bonus, multiple option bonuses, lower the cap hit. It's only $8.5 million. This is what they did for Kittle. This did indeed predict what we would see with Brock Purdy. That is what enabled the 49ers to find the win-win. If you pay stuff out in signing bonus or option bonus money, then the cap hit is staggered over. It could be staggered over 5 years. It could be, you call it an amortization. It is stretched out over that 5-year period. Purdy, again, he's been the most efficient quarterback in football ever since he joined the league. I think we got to, just for old time's sake, we have to get to Ben Baldwin's site right now. To get the Ben Baldwin site, sort quarterbacks, performance all the way back to 2022, and go from there. I got it right now. Minimum snaps, why don't we go 1,200 minimum snaps? Those of you who are new to objective analysis, this might blow your mind, but that's what I'm here for, right? We've got it ready. So the goal is to be further to the right and further up on this chart. You've got expected points added on the vertical axis, and you've got completion percentage over expectation on the horizontal axis. The most efficient quarterback by expected points added since 2022 when Brock Purdy joined the league is Brock Purdy, right up here. He's there with Allen. He's there with Mahomes. He's there with Lamar Jackson. He's above those guys in terms of EPA. Jared Goff, whom he just beat out with the money over the first 3 years in this contract, the APY for Purdy at $53 million. Jared Goff is a little bit worse, but you don't put up numbers like this unless you're doing a lot right. And that definitely has been the case with Brock Purdy. This is Ben Baldwin's website. You can see the EPA and CPOE composite since 2022. Purdy at the very top. If we want to sort it by EPA, well, the last place is Mac Jones. That's the 49ers backup now. But first place is Brock Purdy. Purdy, Allen, Mahomes, Tua, Jared Goff, 1 through 5. The performance supports this contract. 5 years, $265 million for Brock Purdy and the 49ers. This is just not true. This guy says Purdy blew a lot of games last year. He was finished number 7 in QBR. I think that the 49ers number 26 ranked defense and their number 32 ranked special teams were responsible for blowing games last year, not their number 7 ranked quarterback. I think it's time that you people learn the game, realize this is a team sport, and stop being so ignorant of facts. Purdy was at the top of the league still. I mean, he was right there with the top QBs in the league, despite the fact that he didn't have a lot of help with the 49ers last year. But it was the defense and it was the special teams that ranked at the bottom. If you want to look at this objectively, come back with an intelligent comment. But saying that Purdy blew a lot of games in 2024 just isn't really smart. Do I think that the low cap hit leads to a Warner and a Jawan Jennings extension? I think it leads to both. I think that's business the 49ers want to complete on both fronts here in 2025. Warner, I mean, we want to build around foundational pillars, right? And if we look at the 49ers and their roster, I think this is a good time to refresh on this. I highlight the foundational pieces in yellow. Brock Purdy, they paid him, foundational piece. Christian McCaffrey, they paid him, foundational piece. Kyle Juszczyk, same thing. George Kittle, paid him. Trent Williams, paid him last offseason. That's 5 guys that have been paid within the last 2 off seasons for the 49ers. Those are the pillars. Nick Bosa, who was paid at the start of 2023. Fred Warner, they're going to pay him this offseason. Deommodore Lenoir, they paid really recently. So you double down on the foundational pillars. I actually think that Jawan Jennings should be considered a foundational pillar. They paid Brandon Ayuk, but I have him in injury shading right here. The 49ers, there's a lot of rhyme and reason to how they operate. I don't think it's all that complicated for San Francisco. You pay guys like Brock Purdy because he is an excellent player. He's been the NFL's most efficient quarterback since 2022 when he entered the league. And he has struck a very mature deal with the 49ers that is a win-win for them. It's a win-win for Purdy. The first 3 years, $165.05 million of cash flow beat Jared Goff's contract. There's $181 million in total guarantees. It's going to be a rolling total guarantee. So when we get the fully guaranteed amount, I think that we're going to have to consider that these are essential guarantees. The 49ers tied the Purdy for several years. You're tied to one of the best quarterbacks in football, which is a good thing for the 49ers, especially since you're able to do it at an $8.5 million salary cap hit. This raised Purdy's cap hit by less than $4 million. That is extremely important news. The summary is that this was a mature agreement between Purdy and the 49ers, struck on May 16th, well ahead of other contracts that the 49ers have negotiated, the other mega deals. This is massive for San Francisco because they can now focus on winning football games. And Brock Purdy has gone from pick number 262 to a $265 million quarterback. Well, now he can focus on trying to bring the 49ers their first Lombardi trophy in over 30 years. That's the news. Everybody hit the subscribe button. Everybody hit the like button. We're going to have much more. I'm going to delve further into this a little bit later tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you very soon.